Very good morning and welcome to Athavan News. You are listening to Athavan News English website. Today is Sunday, 20th of December 2015. The paper highlights read by Edward Udayadas, Devasakayam Pillai. Now let's focus on the headlines of the Sunday Times. Budget approved with major changes, projects to be slashed. Despite widespread protests, government gets 2/3 majority in parliament. Changes in budget proposals will lead to pruning down some key projects under different ministries. Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake warned yesterday the projects to be affected would be placed before the Economic Affairs Management Committee chaired by Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, he told the Sunday Times. The move came as the budget was passed with a majority of 109 votes. In favor were 160 members, while 51 voted against. 13 MPs were absent. Mr. Karunanayake told Parliament yesterday changes to the budget proposals would cost the Treasury 35,000 million rupees more. One of the large slice of the expenditure would be the increase in a state sector employees' basic salary by 2,500 rupees from January next year. This amount will also be paid to those in the state plantation sector. During the presidential and parliamentary elections campaign, an offer to increase salaries by 10,000 rupees was made. It is the first installment that is being paid next month. A picture message says, Field day for farmers in Colombo. Angry farmers wearing black span clothes and carrying memories had a field day in Colombo on Thursday when they gathered for a massive demonstration against the budget proposal to scrap the provision of fertilizer at subsidized rates and instead give them cash payments. The protest, organized by a Janata Vimukti Peramuna union, included a march from Lipton's Circus to Temple Trees, the Prime Minister's residence. When the police put up a steel barricade near Temple Trees, some farmers sat on the barricade. US interest rate hike will affect Sri Lanka's economy. The United States Federal Reserve's decision to raise interest rates by 0.25% on the US dollar, the currency the Sri Lankan rupees is linked to, will have a ripple effect on Sri Lanka's economy, experts warned yesterday. Bishops ban Christmas trees and Santas in churches. For the first time in history, the Catholic bishops have decided there should be no Christmas trees or Santas in churches during the festive season, a spokesman said yesterday. Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit, the Archbishop of Colombo and President of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Sri Lanka, has sent a circular banning Christmas trees and Santas in Catholic churches of all dioceses. Fraud charges. Bail for Sonia Rahul. Hundreds of members of the Congress party were massed outside the court premises in Delhi in a show of support of the torchbearers of the Nehru-Gandhi dynasty that has ruled India for most of its post-independence era after 1947. With that, we conclude the highlights on the Sunday Times and move on to Sunday Observer. The main headline says 2,500 rupees wage hike for estate workers too, also for state sector. Labour Minister W.D.J. Senaviratna's proposal yesterday to extend the 2,500 rupees salary hike for the private sector to the plantation sector came even as the Parliament police foiled Badulla District UNP MP Vadivel Suresh's apparent attempt to self-immolate. Parliament police officers last evening prevented Badulla District UNP parliamentarian Vadivel Suresh trying to bring 2 cans of petrol and kerosene to self-immolate in the chamber of Parliament. The MP on the previous day said he would set himself ablaze against the government's failure to increase the salaries of estate sector workers. 5 others linked to Tajuddin's killing barred from leaving country. Travel ban on Captain Tissa. The Criminal Investigation Department has obtained a travel ban on a person known as Captain Tissa, a driver of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, in connection with the death of rugby player Wasim Tajuddin. Highly placed sources from police headquarters said the CID made the former president's driver's name had transpired during the investigation. Apart from Captain Tissa, 5 others have also been barred from leaving the country. UDA takes over Port City. Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake said the government was prepared to resume the Port City development project if the Chinese company agrees to launch $1.4 million project on a 99-year lease. Ports and Shipping Minister Arjuna Ranatunga yesterday said the cabinet had decided decided to hand over the Port City Development Project to the Urban Development Authority, which comes under the purview of the Ministry of Megapoly and Western Region Development. SE Asian-based maritime security firms moved to Lanka, dismissing speculation that foreign companies would handle the task undertaken by the Sri Lanka Navy from Avantgarde Maritime Services Private Limited. Defence Secretary Karunasena Hettiarachchi told the Sunday Observer there was no government decision to hand over operations to any other party. There is no change in the government's decision that the Sri Lanka Navy and Ratna Arakshaka Lanka should handle operations earlier handled by Avantgarde Maritime Sea Marshalling Operations, he said. Finally, we move on to Ceylon today. Indian terror squad official says ISIS recruiting agent in Sri Lanka. A Sri Lankan national has been identified as an Islamic State of Iraq and Al-Sham recruiting agent in Sri Lanka by the Indian police. Last week, a 16-year-old from Pune had wanted to join the IS after being radicalized by IS sympathizers and radicals on several social media networks such as Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp and other human resources, via which she managed to trace an IS recruiting agent in Sri Lanka. I don't know anyone named Captain Tissa. Namal Rajapaksa. Tajuddin was my friend. His accident probe is based on gossip articles on websites. Tajuddin's death created tension between Rajapaksas and Muslims. We don't have foreign accounts. Other than criticizing Rajapaksas, this government has done nothing. Investigations are being carried out by the same articles who were in the previous government. We are not hiding anything. You should ask them why there is a delay on final verdict on Wasim Tajuddin's murder, MP Namal Rajapaksa said in an interview with Ceylon Today, first serial killer behind bars. Ceylon Today on 10th October 2015 was the first news media to disclose the possibility of a serial killer roaming the Kottahetana and Kadavatta areas. And again on 25th October, Ceylon Today, which travelled to the misty Sri Lankan Whitechapel, reported that the serial and mass murders that had occurred in the village might have had political backing and immunity. Today we stand proven that Sri Lanka's first ever serial killer is behind bars, awaiting an inevitable conviction at the hands of the courts. With that, we come to an end of today's paper highlights and we will come with more news tomorrow. Thanks for listening to Athavan News.